Hey everybody, I hope everyone is doing really well today, and welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back if you've been here before. I've been traveling for a little while, so I haven't had a new video in a hot minute, but I am back today, ready to do a review for you on a new product that is everywhere on YouTube right now. Today I'm going to be talking about the new Ambient Lighting Unlocked palette by Hourglass. So yearly, Hourglass comes out with new face palettes, and if you guys have been here before, you know that I have one from last year and I love it, and that's the Elephant palette. This is the palette made for kind of like medium skin tones. This year they've come out with three new palettes. So the palettes are the Jellyfish palette, which is the lightest, the Leopard, which is most similar to the Elephant one. Some little changes, but quite similar, made for more medium skin tones. And then they've also released the Snake palette, which is for deeper skin tones, and that's the one that I purchased and want to be talking about today. So this palette retails for $122 Canadian, so it is expensive. That being said, if you don't have a palette yet, I bought this one last year and it is still super full. I have not hit any pans yet. Again, I use it almost daily, and it is still looking in tip-top shape. So today I want to talk about the Snake palette and how that differs from the Elephant. I know Elephant is last season, but you can kind of equate it with the Leopard palette. I wanted to show this palette specifically because it's intended for deeper skin tones, and I keep seeing reviews from fair-skinned individuals trying this palette. They're showing the colors, but it's not really giving me a sense of what it would look like on a deeper skin tone. And so I thought I would try to create a look and show you what it might look like on a deeper skin tone. I will wrap up by sharing with you my thoughts as to which one I prefer for deeper skin tones. And yeah, so I was thinking about, first of all, giving you a bit of a comparison, showing what they look like. But also I was going to do one side of my face with the Snake and one side with the Elephant. And again, I know you can't buy the Elephant right now, but you can buy the Leopard, and that would be the closest to, and it's not too far off at all. So to start off, I'm just going to remind you of what the Elephant looks like. You can see here that this palette has a lot of versatility, a lot of more like pinky tones, a good diversity in colors for all over your face. So how I use this palette is this is kind of my all over my face like finishing powder. I use this middle one here, which looks shiny, but it's actually quite matte. Under my eyes to set my concealer sometimes. I will use this as obviously my highlight. I mix these together as a blush, and I use this as a bronzer. So it really gives you one of everything, and it's got enough diversity that you can really use it all. And now I'm going to show you the Snake palette. So the Snake palette is quite a bit deeper. I've actually found that in watching videos, I haven't really gotten when people show the palette, the colors haven't really been true to what it looks like in person, but for me, this is quite similar. So they're quite deep. There's a bit more red and orange in this palette, and you can see a little bit less. I'm gonna hold them up simultaneously. You can kind of see that I'm just trying to see here. Yeah, like a little bit less, I would say, diversity in this palette. It's all quite deep and rich, whereas I think there's a little bit more in this one palette here. But really, I think your decisions about which one's right for you has to do with the colorway that you feel looks best on your skin tone. So I'm gonna try to use as many colors as I can today in different ways on my face. And let's see what the Snake looks like, and let's see what the Elephant looks like. And I'm gonna, tell you what I think is best for this skin tone. And you might have a different opinion, which is totally cool. I'm just here to show you what the colors are all about. So I'm gonna start off by using the bronzer. So this is typically how I use the palette. I'm going to take a big fluffy brush. Sorry about that. And I'm gonna I am okay, I am alive. I'm gonna just carve that into underneath my cheekbone, give a little bit of shape, a little bit of dimension. Now this color is quite a bit deeper than the bronzer in the Elephant palette, so let's see if it's too deep, let's see if it's the right color. I'm just gonna start by working. Okay, so it's quite pigmented. It's giving me dimension. definitely getting sun-kissed vibes here. To me, I'm seeing a little bit of red in this. And I don't know how I feel about redness in a bronzer. Interesting. Yeah. Well, we'll see how it all comes together. I find the colors in these palettes very pigmented, which is why I think the elephant one has lasted me so long, because I haven't really, you just honestly tap your brush into it and you're good to go. So, you know, be very mindful about how much product you use with these colors, and know that's going to last you quite some time. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, let's highlight next. I'm going to take my brush and dip it into this highlighting powder here. If I look at these colors together, I will say that the highlight in the snake is a little bit more golden, whereas the highlight in the elephant is a little bit more champagne. So I'm going to take that more golden highlight and I'm going to dust it. Just kind of create like a C shape here. And it does a nice job of highlighting while also giving warmth. So you can see almost like a bit of a yellowy as I do that, which is often nice on deeper skin tones. Okay, now let's take the blushes. Now the blushes are, they are quite similar in this palette. So if you're looking for diversity, and to be fair, they're similar in both palettes. So in the elephant, the two blushes are also quite similar. What I found through playing with this a little bit is that they're both in the corally space. One's got a bit more red, one's got a bit more orange. So what I'm gonna do is maybe mix them together a little bit. Be mindful not to take too much product. Okay, so I'm gonna place the blush. And maybe I was a little too careful about how much it takes. I'm gonna take a little more. So you see it's got a lot of red to it. Like it's not a pinky blush. It's very much, and it's, I would almost say it doesn't even read very coral to me. To me, it reads quite red. I'm not typically the biggest fan of red in my blushes. I don't know, I feel like we do so much to like reduce redness in our skin, then we like go and apply red again. I tend to lean towards more pinky and more corally, even a bit of orange, but this doesn't feel orange to me. It feels more like red, here I am, kind of. Which is not, again, if that's your thing, then this is the palette for you. It's just not maybe my thing. It still looks pretty. It's just a little too red for me. I'm gonna move on next to just wiping this brush off, making sure it's clean for my next application of the elephant palette. Next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the blush topper, which is this kind of coppery color. It's got more of like a shine to it. I'm just gonna add the topper. Kind of adds a bit more of a coppery look to that blush. Again, I'm kind of feeling like it's just deepening. I'm looking, there's a mirror behind and looking at that too. It's adding a kind of a copperiness to the look. You can see that. And making it a bit more of like a shiny, satiny blush versus more like a matte blush. Okay, I will take a moment to just stare this way so you can really see the colors and what they look like. Now let's move on to the elephant palette. So, kind of clearing off my brushes here. Let's go in with the elephant bronzer. So the elephant bronzer is this one here. It does not look very dark. However, let's see how it translates on the skin. mean, it still is showing up. I think it's a little bit less deep, but it's still doing a good job. It's still, I find that almost all of Hourglass's bronzers do have a warmth to them. You're not going to get away from that. So if you don't like a warmer or more orangey bronzer, then the Hourglass bronzers just aren't for you. But I would say that even though it looks significantly lighter in the palette, again, the bottom corner on this one and the bottom corner on this one, they look quite different, but they both get the job done, I think. Both are adding dimension for me. I'm gonna now go in with the blushes in the Elephant palette, and just like the other palette, I'm gonna mix the two colors together. It's just a little bit more subtle, I find. Still has a bit of a reddish vibe, but it might also be my brush not being totally cleared off. I'm finding that this side's feeling more subtle and more natural, and I did apply a good amount. What I like about these blushes is that they're buildable. Okay. And now I'm going to go in with the highlight on the Elephant palette. Again, this is kind of the one that I identified as a bit more champagne-y than gold. A bit more golden, a bit more champagne-y. And then there's no blush topper here, but maybe what I will do is I'm going to use the middle color here, which is a bit more of that matte, almost like a brightening powder, and I'm just going to put some underneath my eyes on this side. Kind of helps with the highlight a little bit. I hope you guys can see the difference. So what I see, and I'm just gonna look at the mirror as well. What I see is more subtlety on this side, more like almost blushing bride here. And I see a bit more like intensity, warmth, redness, like sun-kissed on this side. Maybe even like sunburnt a little bit on this side. I think from what I see, and I would love to hear what you guys think, which one you prefer. So again, I think that this palette has more diversity, pardon all the dustiness there, more diversity, and the colors are, because it's buildable, I find this palette is easier to control. I can build up my blush, but this one I have to be really careful about how red things are gonna get. The aesthetic or the look that I like to go for is more like natural, like she's flushed and she's like, there's like a femininity and like almost like a bridal vibe with the pink and coral hues. This might be a better like evening going out look. It depends on, I guess, when you wear makeup most, your uses, your skin tone. I still really haven't seen this palette used on many women of color. So if there are more videos out there and they use it differently, I'd love to see. Overall, what I will say is, and it's not hard to tell where my bias is that I strongly prefer the Elephant palette. The pinks, the diversity, the fact that I can just take this and some eyeliner and I'm good, versus this one, I don't think it has enough uses for me. Like the bronzer, sure. The blushes, they're kind of intense and like not as diverse. It doesn't have an under eye color for me to set my concealer. You know what? I will actually just try to use the overall ambient. I'm gonna dust this brush off again. I'm gonna try and use the overall ambient. I didn't realize I didn't use that yet. So let's use that. I'm kind of limiting it to one pan here. It does have like a nice finishing powder that gives you kind of more of like an airbrushed. Like, that's quite pretty. The elephant palette, let's try and get that one, also has an all-over finishing color. And honestly, I actually prefer the all-over finishing powder in the snake for my skin tone versus this one, just because I feel like it matches my skin tone better and it has a little bit more warmth. Again, I'll show you that one more time. So on the elephant palette, you are looking at the, oops. So in this snake palette, you're looking at this color here as your all-over finishing, and in the so this is a snake, and the elephant, you're looking right here. So you can see there's a bit more warmth, which is why I like it a bit better. Is that the reason to get the snake over the now leopard? Probably not, in my opinion. So yeah, as I'm saying, I prefer these colors. I think this one's harder to control. It's still really beautiful, and it has the most unique colors of all the palettes right now that have been released. But I lean elephant and therefore leopard. So if you're in the market right now and you're kind of liking this look, and you like the diversity of this palette, elephant's no longer available, but I would suggest leopard. If you like more of like the really warm, the reds, the deep kind of look, then snake is your girl. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, comment, subscribe. It helps. And feel free to also follow me along on my TikTok, as well as my Instagram. The information is down below. And let me know what you'd like me to review next. I have a couple things lined up, and I'm excited to make some more content for you guys. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.